Hi guys, yesterday I told you what is the history of Java, and from the past three videos I told you why we choose the Java and why Java was created and what is the history of Java and who are the creators of the Java. So this is all about the Java. So today onwards we are entering into a Java. This is the actual picture of Java. So today onwards we are like mainly entering to a Java. So today I wanted to teach you what is compiler and what is interpreter. So in both of these, which Java will use. Okay, first of all, going into what is compiler and what is interpreter, we should have to know what is a programming language. This so first of all we know what is in a programming language. After that only we should have to know what is in a compiler and what is interpreter. So what is programming language means? This is a language which is used to write the instructions to perform a specific task. So this is also a language. It is used to perform a specific task. So for doing a specific task in this programming language, we have certain instructions and rules. By following that instructions and rules, we perform a specific task. So this is called a programming language. So there are the types of languages based on their levels. There are three types of programming language. One is low level programming language, the second one is mid level programming language, the third one is high level programming language. So what is mean by low level programming language? Low level programming language which is understanding by only to the machines or systems. So this is called a low level programming language. Humans cannot understand this language. So example, this is a binary values or byte code, binary code. This forms is zeros and ones. So what is mean by mid-level programming language? This is also a programming language which is partially understood by the machines as well as to the humans. So for example, mid-level language is an assembly language. Coming to the third level, high level programming language. The high level programming language is a simple English, or this is only understanding by the humans, not understanding by the machines. So whatever our languages is there means code languages, Java, C and C++, these all languages are high level programming languages. So the high level programming languages not understand by the machines. It is only understand by the humans. If your machine will not understand your language, then how it will give you a response and how you should have to interact with that one and how should you get output. So for this we need a translator. So here converting our high level programming language into a low level programming language, we need a translator. That translators only compiler and interpreter. So without compiler and interpreter you cannot translate your code into a low level language. So I will tell you what is compiler and what is interpreter. So compiler is a translator which is transform your code, means source code, into a machine code, is enter source code into a machine code. So that is called compiler. So what is interpreter? Interpreter also do the same thing, but at a time it will not convert the whole source code into a machine code. It will convert your source code into a line by line. Means one line is your source code that will be converted into a machine code. Again it will be entered into a second line. That source code into converted into a machine code. Again it will enter into the third line of your source code, and again that source code is converted into a machine code. So interpreter do the work in line by line. The compiler will do the work in at a time, means all your source code converted into a machine code at a time. So do you people understand what is mean by compiler and what is mean by interpreter? So now the question is comes arise into your brain. What Java program will use either as a compiler or an interpreter? So Java will use the both compiler and interpreter. So many people are thinking Java will only use the compiler. No, Java will use both compiler as well as the interpreter. So I will tell you Java how to use, means how it will be used the compiler and interpreter at the same time. So I am explaining in a visual form what is compiler. So what is compiler? A compiler translates the entire source code into a machine code file. So that file is execute. So this is how the compiler will convert the whole source code into a machine code. How it will work means, in a normal picture it is in a human, he is using in a high level language, and the compiler, it's coming to the picture, means compiler, it is also called as a translator for the code, and it will be converted into a low level language and it gives into a system, and your system gives output. So how means you are here writing your statements, and this statements is called high level programming language, and it compiles, and after that this high level code will be converted into ones zeros, means in a binary code. This is also called as compiled code. So and execute, so this binary code will execute and it gives into a system, then your system will give the output. So this is compiler. And coming to what is interpreter. So what is an interpreter? So interpreter reads one statement, means one line of code from your source code and translate that code into a machine code and executes it. So how means you are writing here the statements in a high level language, and this will be converted into an interpreter by using, and after that it will be directly go to the system and the system will give the output. So this is compiler and this is interpreter. So you people understand, the compiler will compile the whole code at a time and giving to the system, but here the interpreter give the code into a line by line. The source code is converted into a machine code. So in Java, how the compiler and interpreter work together, I will tell you. I told you Java is in a compiler and interpreter language. So Java is both a compiler based language and also an interpreter based language also. So first we have our source code. first we have our Java source code with the extension of .java. So our file name is hello and .java. So this is extension. It means it is our source code. So by a Java compiler, so we can write also like Java C. So Java compiler compile our code. With this compiler, our code will be compiled and it will be, we write that file into hello.class. Actually the extension is for a bytecode .class. So our file name is hello. So I write .class. So this is how our source code compiled and converted into a bytecode. This is called compilation. First .java, it is a source code. Then Java C compiler converted our code into an Java bytecode. So with the extension of .class file. So our file is hello.class. So up to this level means hello.java. This is a source code and the source code will compiled by Java C. This is compilation. So this Java C compiled our source code and this code will converted into hello.class. Means this with the extension of class we converted our source code into compiled code into a bytecode. So up to this level is called compilation. And when we are coming to the picture of JVM. So JVM is Java virtual machine. So what this Java virtual machine will do means the JVM reads the bytecode. First this JVM reads the bytecode and initially the JVM interprets the bytecode into line by line. After this JVM reading bytecode, this JVM read the bytecode and it will give to the interpreter. So that interpreter convert that code into a line by line into a machine code. So like this machine code interpreter gives into a machine. So after that we will get an output. So here the JVM will read the bytecode and JVM interprets that bytecode line by line. So the JVM is known as a Java virtual machine. So JVM gives bytecode into an interpreter. So interpreter reads that code into a line by line and it translates into a machine code. So if line by line reading is somehow it is a time taking process. So if you want your code in a fast execution, you can also add in a compiler. That compiler name is JIT. J-I-T. J-I-T means just in time. So JIT is a compiler frequently execute the code. This is compiled into a native machine code by JIT. So JIT is a compiler making our Java code most faster to comparing to other language, because interpreter will translate our code line by line, so it takes some time. If you want fast, you can also add one compiler here. So that is only JIT compiler. So after interpreter, that code will be converted into a machine code and it will be given to the output. So one by one process we will see. First hello.java means with the .java extension, this is a source code. Source code will compile the Java C. So compilation done. So our bytecode we will write with the .class extension. So our hello file will generate. After that, this file will going to a JVM. Then JVM will giving to an interpreter. So after interpreter, it will going to a machine code and machine code give to the output. So Java is, by looking this, what we understand, Java is both a compiler based and interpreter based language. So Java compiler compiles, means Java C compiles our source code into a bytecode with the extension of .class file. Then our JVM will come into the picture, and JVM that interpreter this bytecode and it will give into an interpreter or JIT, just in time compiler. It converts our bytecode into a native machine code. So for a better performance we will use JIT here. So this is how our whole Java code will be converted from high level language to a low level language. So by JVM only, our means we always said na Java is a platform independent language. By the JVM machine, Java virtual machine, the Java source code can be run into any platform. Means we can write our code into once and we can execute in a different platforms, means OS, operating system. Means anywhere the Java provides in a JVM. If it is Windows, so it will be provide Windows JVM. If it is Linux operating system, it will be provides a Linux JVM, and if it is Mac, it will be provided a Mac JVM. So this is the reason, so our Java code can run into any operating system. So this is JVMs are capable to execute our bytecode in the same way in any operating system. So like this, our high level code will converted into a low level code with the using of a compiler and using of an interpreter. So I think you guys will understand this process, and I will tell you tomorrow what is JVM, what is JRE, and what is JDK, and what is JIT, and everything I will explain from the tomorrow's topic. Don't worry guys, for new it will be something like what we are studying, you don't understand as much easier, but if you study like regularly, this is like it is in a simple thing. So after few days it's look like a simple thing to you people. Thank you guys. In the next video I will tell you what are the JVM, JDK, JRE and JIT. So मिलते हैं next video में. Bye.